a bit of a change for us here at Married in Minecraft. I am talking with video gamer extraordinaire Will Madden, and he's on PlayStation as Gameplae, Gameplae. So if you see him on there, give him a holler. He's also on Steam. I don't know if you play Xbox. Yeah, see, I'm an Xboxer, so. But that's what we do all the time. And he's going to tell me about some gear that I don't know anything about because, you know, I play Xbox and that's, you know, I just do Xbox. I'm not to his level yet. So you've got a PlayStation game up on the screen right now. And yeah, you do have a bunch of games.
I like fighting games, so that's mainly what's installed on here. I have some single player games, but you don't really play other games with a stick like this. So.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted you to tell me about. What is this thing on your lap? Because it's not a keyboard. It doesn't have enough things to make music on, but it's got a joystick on it.
Yeah, it's an arcade stick, or some people call it a fight stick. A lot of people use them for fighting games. You can use it for like shmups or shoot 'em ups. Yeah, any kind of or if you have like an arcade emulator at home.
Okay.
You want to play like Turtles in Time and feel like you're in the arcade.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, you can use an arcade.
I don't want to date myself.
Yeah, I know all that stuff.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So this is the idea here is that this is it's got the joystick and it's got the big keys just like a regular arcade game would have. But is this your console? How's this? I mean, because you got a cord running from that
this is just
over to the TV.
This is just a controller. I mean, there are people do make like Raspberry Pi console controller combos with these kinds of things, like emulators. But that's not what this is.
So that's just the controller. So it's like my Xbox controller that I have, except it doesn't have two joysticks on it. So what's what are the tabs on the front for?
Oh, that's for wrapping the cord up.
Okay, so you can wrap the cord up.
Yeah.
And is there anything significant? Okay, so your keyboard actually has the same identification marks as the controllers on the PlayStation does. So I see I know what these are. Are these like your bumpers?
Yeah, this would be the bumper and these would be the triggers.
Okay. All right. So that's just pretty much just like my Xbox, except so I could probably use one of these with Xbox.
No.
Not really.
You would have to get one for Xbox.
So this is made specifically for PlayStation.
PlayStation and computer. So like there's certain switches inside on the boards that determine whether it'll be read by a certain console.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and you don't get access to those switches or anything.
I could in theory, but
you don't want to crack the case because avoid your warranty and all that stuff.
I could open it and do this kind of stuff.
Holy crud.
That would be to change buttons out if you wanted to have different colored buttons, or maybe different kinds or different kind of switch. Or tighten the spring, loosen the spring. But to do any board type things, I don't know how to do that. I'm sure it could be done. It's just not worth it. You could just buy one for the console instead of trying to,
Okay, so this one over here, this is actually that's actually the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's the console.
Okay, so this is a separate
controller,
different controller.
Correct.
Is it the same one or a different one?
Nope, different one. That's the Combat Dragon. That's a PlayStation exclusive stick. You can use it on PC as well. It's more, I guess, personalizable. I don't know.
Okay.
You can mod it to be like with this. It's just matte metal.
Okay.
You could engrave it or like acid stain it type thing. But with that, you can put like a graphic under the plexiglass and have like a design.
Okay. So between these two, which one do you like better? The one you have on your lap?
I still don't know. They have the same parts for the most part. Like these are all Sanwa buttons. The company that makes buttons. A lot of people agree that Sanwa makes some of the best stick buttons.
Okay.
But the levers are different. This is
the actual joystick.
Yeah, that's a Sanwa lever.
All right.
And then this lever is different because it's detachable. I don't think it's Sanwa. I think it's like designed specifically for this stick.
Okay.
It's different. I don't dislike it. I don't know what I like more though. I like them both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you like playing with this better than say the PlayStation controller that comes with that you get with the PlayStation?
Honestly, it's just preference. You don't need to play with a stick.
Okay.
There are certain things that are easier on a stick.
Okay.
And basically, it's very nice to be able to practice at home with a stick and go to an arcade and play on a cabinet and not having to lose any of that skill.
Yeah, what you're used to doing at home is also the same thing you would be doing at the arcade.
For me, back when I played on pad or just a regular controller, they call it pad. You know, I could do my moves on a pad, and I would go to an arcade, and it's just like, okay, how do I do this with
these
buttons? I decided,
buttons?
you know what, I'd like to learn how to play on a stick, and then I really liked it, and I just never went back.
So you were telling me this morning about you were giving me some education, because you say that part of what you do is you teach people about street fighting or about one-on-one fighting. Is that what you call it? Street fight fighting games?
Yeah, fighting games, yeah.
So you were telling me about the button mashers, and then you showed me some of the folks that are big in the gaming scene.
Sure.
And what you were showing, what I noticed is some of those guys, they're playing with these kinds of keyboards, with these controllers.
A lot of people who play fighting games seriously do use stick. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Your average fighting game player is going to be somebody who grew up in the arcade era, so they're going to be more used to like sticks. If you look at the average age of a lot of the like tournament winners, like grand majors, national tournament winners, it's in their 30s. You know, so they've been around the block. They played in the arcades in the 80s and the 90s, so they're used to stick. A lot of the newer players use pad. There's a lot of big names. I believe Punk plays pad. He played stick too at some time, but he plays pad. I know Smug plays pad. There's a lot of pad players.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stick players too. A lot of people just like stick. So
okay.
There's certain things.
So it's just kind of personal preference. There's not like really any advantage of one over the other.
Depends on the game.
Okay.
There's certainly, you know, some exploits that can happen in certain games from having a stick. Oh, like for example, there's not even an exploit. Some are design decisions and some are just exploits, but whatever. Like for example, there's a technique in some games called negative edging, and to avoid that whole discussion, I'll say it's basically there's. When you push a button down, you know, a lot of people think that's just the only thing. That's the only thing that like activates the button.
Okay.
You know, but also, on releasing that button can provide an effect as well.
Okay.
And the releasing of a button is called a negative edge.
All right.
Certain games.
You're holding it, and then when you release it, something happens.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Or for example, when you press the button, it does a thing, and then when you release the button, it might do that input again.
Okay.
You know, that's called a negative edge. Depending on the game, depending on how strict they are with their inputs, or if the game's designed for that, a negative edge could be easier to perform on a stick than it is on a pad.
Okay.
Having to hold a tiny button down, as opposed to one of these bigger ones, and letting go with precision is a lot easier.
Okay.
Things like that. And then, you know, the Street Fighter 4 had the notorious primary link system where, you know, certain moves could link into each other with priority, but there was just a little exploit where if you held select, it would give moves that didn't typically have priority, so you could hit certain links easier. And on a controller, hitting select is a lot harder than mapping it to one of these buttons and holding it and doing it.
Gotcha.
And that was an exploit that was used in Street Fighter 4.
So if someone is watching this and they go, you know what, maybe I want to try one of those arcade things, well, I was going to ask you what recommendations do you have for them, but the first thing I was going to say is cost, because you know me, I'm a cheap. I'll probably have to bleep that out later. But and I know you live in the northeastern part of America, and that's sometimes where you live in the country could determine the prices. But of course, we are in a global economy on Amazon and stuff. So do you recommend somebody look at this stuff locally, or do you think they should just look online for stuff?
It's really hard to find locally.
Okay.
I mean, unless you have like a small hobby shop type thing
Caters to gamers.
in your area, you're probably not going to have it. Like every once in a while, a GameStop might have one.
Okay.
Or Walmart, but really, when going with sticks, you want to go with recognized brands.
Okay.
Because a lot of the knockoff stuff is cheap. It'll break. It'll fall apart.
Okay.
Whatever, and it just won't last. It's not, or the button stick or the joystick's not. There's certain brands. Hori's a recognized brand. Mad Catz, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Kanba.
Okay.
And all of these sticks have different price points. These two sticks that I have here are considered luxury sticks. Nobody needs these. I like them because they're pretty.
Okay.
If you want a very good solid stick, the starting point for like a good solid stick is $80.
Okay.
And then it goes up from there depending on how many bells and whistles you want on it. But at the end of the day, what's really fun about sticks is you see a lot of people with their own custom-made ones. You can buy the switches and levers and buttons for fairly cheap, and you can get a board. You can get all that, the motherboard, the circuit board, and if you know like how to use pop sockets and a little bit of soldering, you can
build your own.
Yeah, some people, you see images online of people making like wooden sticks out of cigar boxes. People make joke sticks out of Tupperware or pizza boxes. You can make a stick out of anything. And so, if you wanted to get into making a stick, you could just go on and buy the parts off Amazon and make your own.
All right. Well, hey, before we roll out of here, everybody kind of has their favorite game. Of course, I'm a Minecrafter. What are some of give me your top 3 fighting games that you love?
These days, I really love King of Fighters. It took a long time for me to get into it. I always liked Street Fighter more. I was sipping the Capcom Kool-Aid. And at the time, it seemed like, Capcom players looked down on King of Fighters players. It seemed like people didn't consider it like a viable contender.
Okay.
But I love it. I think it's super deep, super fun, super complex. Then, of course, I like Street Fighter. I'm not super big into 5, but it's okay for what it is, and I play it for fun, and I'll throw a 3D fighter in there, because if I were to put another 2D fighter, it would be Marvel. But I guess I like Tekken. Tekken's fun.
Tekken, all right.
Tekken's fun.
All right, so of course, I'm a big gun guy and big into believing that Second Amendment is important and people should defend themselves. So let's talk shooter games.
Oh.
What are your top 3 favorite shooter games?
I really like Battlefield. This is going to be in no particular order. I like Battlefield. Battlefield is really fun. Escape from Tarkov.
I was going to say Tarkov's probably going to be in there because that's the one you're shooting.
I love and hate it. I love and hate it. And then for number 3, I mean, I don't play that much shooters. Because the thing is, I like fast-paced. I like fast-paced games. I like shooters for different things. I like Tarkov because it's slow and tactical. I like Battlefield because you can play smart, but it's more fast-paced and kind of arcadey.
Okay.
I prefer those types of games. I don't really want. And a lot of shooters these days are like slow and steady tactical shooter. Like Rainbow Six Siege is really fun, but I can only play it for so long before I just want to,
Yeah.
I miss the days of being in high school and playing music in the background and being able to play my game, whereas all these shooting games these days,
you're completely immersed. You're completely immersed.
The sound of the footsteps of somebody walking 50 feet away, and I just want to be able to put on an album and just play a shooting game, and that doesn't seem to really be in the scope these days. But I guess for number 3, I guess I just said it, huh? Whatever it was.
You said Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. I guess those would be my 3.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate your time today. I know that you've got some important gaming to do here, so I'm going to let you get back to it. And we'll see if there's folks that want to come check out your YouTube channel. You've got some playlists up there that folks can look at.
I don't have any videos uploaded, I don't think. But
Till
I
this
have
one.
some playlists where I like, if I find any useful information from fighting game content creators, or if I find an interesting set or something like that, or just fighting game community lore, I just put it all in one playlist.
All right, well, we're going to be looking for more from you in the future, everybody. Hey, so for those that are watching this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button, and we appreciate you stopping by. Thanks, Gameplay. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.